Today on my series of misinformation articles, today I'm going to be talking about Twitter because I see a lot of it on the news. The misinformation here is the extent of which Twitter reportedly asking some laid off staff to return. So again, we don't know how many people were laid off. There's no official word, but based on whatever articles or blogs that have been written, they've suggested maybe 50%, but we don't know that number. Let's just be honest, we really don't know the number. And so this next thing that happened recently is now this is big news on Blind and some other social media apps. They're saying that Twitter is reportedly asking some laid off staff to return. So the irony of this is, here on Yahoo, they're using a Twitter post to explain, how they're rehiring people because this person over here is suggesting that multiple sources in Twitter blind chats now say that the company has began to reach out to some people who were laid off yesterday. Whoops. So it's making it seem like, it's a big deal. And they cite this Bloomberg article, which is pretty interesting because, I had to create an account and I have the Bloomberg article, and really it doesn't say much. It just says here's the, what do you call it, the reference. They said that some of those who are being asked to return were laid off by mistake, according to two people familiar with the moves. Two people. We don't even know who those two people are. We don't know, what do you call it, their identities. We don't know where they're working at. But then, it goes on to say that others were let go because they realized they're working on new features for Musk. So this article is the basis of the rest of these articles that have rehashed all of these articles. And even, Casey Newton has reported, this Bloomberg article is the reason why, one of the reasons, explaining that, they're rehiring some people they laid off. Again, I'm not a big fan of Twitter posts that say, this is news or whatever. And so whenever someone posts something on Twitter and sends a screenshot of it, I'm very hesitant to, it could be true, it could not be true, but I'm not too keen on these type of Twitter posts. Again, they said some people were laid off. So how many people were laid off? Again, you can go to the Bloomberg article. It doesn't say anything about the extent of the numbers that were asked to be rehired. A lot of the articles were saying dozens. So what does dozens of employees mean? Like, I guess it's definitely more than 12. And, dozens could imply, 24, 24, and maybe, 50, 3 dozen or 4 dozen. Again, there's no fact checking. And we go back to this thing over here is multiple sources and Twitter blind chats are now saying, I haven't seen a single source really. Bloomberg cited two sources within the company. And then I went on to Blind because I have a Blind account. I could not find any chats. And literally, most of the references on Blind were rehashes of what Casey Newton had posted over here on Twitter. So it just kind of blows my mind seeing, like, this is, to me, it feels like misinformation. I could be wrong, but no one has given me any references in any of these articles. There's no references. Not even the Bloomberg article has a reference to, a reliable source. It's all just some people said, or some people on Slack said this, and there's never a screenshot. There's never like an interview. There's nothing. I mean, it just kind of blows my mind that you can post this as news without any actual, like, any basis, any, what do you call it? Just, there's no information beyond just a few anonymous people said that people were getting rehired. And then the fact that they say that it's dozens of people reached out to dozens, but there's no number at all. Absolutely no number. So again, for me, this feels like a lot of misinformation just to make it seem that Elon Musk and whatever, this whole Twitter buying thing is a big. I don't even know why it's a big deal because, everyone gets laid off, especially high paid employees, white collar employees. I think American Airlines laid off a lot of people. This is on Blind. Someone noted American Airlines laid off a ton of people. Lyft laid off a ton of people. No one's up in arms, but for some reason, with Twitter, people are just bothered. I don't really think people are bothered. This is just media sending a lot of this information and trying to maybe trend it or something. I don't know. So, anyways, if you notice this, or if you have references to show me, again, I went on to Bloomberg. I couldn't find anything. This Yahoo article doesn't say anything, and so it's difficult. It's difficult to get the truth, and I'm bombarded. I feel like we're being bombarded by this information that's not verified, and it's just not Twitter. It's pretty much all media. They don't fact check and don't send us reliable sources, and it's easy now just because people can get convinced. They're like, haha, look, Twitter's all messed up. They're having to rehire all their employees, but this could be just like 10, 20 employees that they're rehiring. We don't know. There's no figures. There's no references. So that's my misinformation episode for today.